from the News Channel 5 network. This is Out and About Today. Sponsored by the Tennessee Performing Arts Center.
Welcome to Out and About Today. I'm Brent Meredith. We've got a very buzzworthy and topical show for you tonight. We're going to take a look at how the state's new anti-trans laws are being met here in Metro Nashville, and we'll talk with organizers of some of the newest Pride events across Tennessee. But first, we're going to kick off the show with a few hot topics and get reactions from my co-host Chuck Long and special guest and commentator Zach Woodward from the Woody and Jim Show, and of course from his own show on Pride Radio. Hello guys, good to see you, Zach. Welcome back.
Hi, how are you, friend?
Hey, I'm good. Good to see you. Looks like you're, as always, you're in the studio working on something.
Here I am at work per usual, so thank you for having me.
Of course, and good to see you, Chuck. We didn't get to see each other much last month.
Good to see you.
Yeah, so I was curious. I got a couple of topics, but I wanted to kind of gauge, with Nashville Pride still ahead of us in September. June was still traditionally Pride Month. What did you guys get to do to sort of celebrate Pride? Zach?
So I actually started hosting a new drag show downtown on 5th and Broadway at the top of the Assembly Food Hall that we started and we launched for Pride Month. So we had all of these beautiful drag queens. It's every Sunday from every Sunday at 2:30. So we just started this new drag show on Broadway, and I was like, wow, they allow gay people on Broadway. We've made it in life, honey. So
is it going to keep going after Pride Month?
Celebrate it that way.
Is it going to keep going after Pride Month?
Yeah, we're going to continue it all the way through July.
Awesome, cool. So as this airs then in July, people still will have an opportunity to come see the show. That is awesome. I saw that, and I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Chuck? Did you get to celebrate anything this past month?
Well, interestingly enough, they have had so many great Pride specials on television. We've got Trans America. Joe Fryer's been hosting that. Love that. Miley Cyrus has a Pride concert. She has Mickey Guyton. She has a lot of the RuPaul Drag Race contestants on it. So it's been fun to just I love how all the broadcast networks are doing so many Pride events and Pride stories and Pride specials. So I've really just been kind of sitting here in the living room and just enjoying and kind of making a list, checking them off. A lot of great ones.
Isn't it great to be able to celebrate Pride from the comfort of your own home in so many various ways? I had some friends texting me about the Miley Cyrus concert, and we watched some of the video, and I'm like, I wish I could have been to that. Of course, I put my flag up, and I was able to make it out to a couple of the events. The Bianca Page Way Memorial or dedication was a fun one. I really highlight to be able to see that happen in Pride Month. So it was cool to be able to celebrate Pride, knowing that we still get to celebrate Pride in September. I want to jump into some of the topics for this month, and the first one is of interest because I am going to be talking a little bit later in the show with Metro DA Glenn Funk about this very topic, but I wanted to get your guys' reactions first here in the Buzz About. So, of course, the Nashville DA maintained his position amid this legislative pressure that he didn't feel that it was necessary, and there's the picture of Glenn there, to enforce some of the sort of the anti-trans bills that have passed. And he says, my office is devoted to public safety, protecting violent crimes, and supporting victims. However, this law does not accomplish these goals. Instead, it only dehumanizes transgender people and falsely portrays them as predators. History is blemished by far too many examples of the government openly discriminating against LGBT individuals. First of all, I wanted to get y'all's reactions to his statement, and then we'll talk about the actual bills themselves. What did you think when you saw this article, Chuck?
Well, I mean, thank goodness that he did, stand up and say that. It just, once again, the people that are trying to enforce it, it's just so political. They're just pandering to their constituents, what they think their constituents want to hear. And the damage that this could do if people did enforce it, I mean, the discrimination, the harm, I mean, once again, it just lets you see so often how very uninformed people are, because this is totally, to me, about lack of information and just pandering to constituents.
I would have to agree to that, but I want to hear, what are you thinking, Zach? Your thoughts on at least our own DA here in Davidson coming out with the statement?
I mean, I'm going to go along with the same thing that Chuck said. Is honestly, it made me proud and excited that he actually said that. But it just makes me so sad that even all of this has to be a conversation. We're in 2021. Why do we even have to worry about the politics and what people are saying and stuff. It just breaks my heart that like the trans youth and the trans community even has to deal with this conversation to this day. Like, I just wish that we were to a point that we could just have regular communication and treat them like normal humans in equality. So it just breaks my heart that we even have to go through this.
I agree with you 100%. And you know, we all kind of sit in a position where we see different things. You have a unique position on the radio, and you know, I feel like a lot of media outlets are supportive, and as far as the general public, the support is there for our community. And as Chuck was saying, some of the legislation just seems to be sort of a almost a kickback for maybe a presidential win or some other movements that we've had and progression. So there's got to be some sort of setback in order to maintain some sort of balance, if you will, in their minds. But I am excited about having that discussion here a little bit later, actually, with our DA. So I wanted to move on to a little bit more of a positive topic. Prides popping up across Tennessee. A lot of them happened last month, which unfortunately we weren't able to cover based on the fact that they happened so quickly. But I am going to be talking a little bit later with some of the organizers from Maury County and what they're doing to get Pride there. We've seen it pop up in Pulaski. There was a Pride event there last month. And then, of course, Franklin Pride is coming up at the end of this month. And then lastly, and I'll start with you on this one, Zach, because you've hosted it, but fairly recently we've had Murfreesboro Pride come into the fold. So on the heels of the legislation and maybe some of the negative attention we've received, how have you felt sort of seeing these new events, and were you able to attend any?
Honestly, so I haven't been able to attend any of them yet, just because it's been crazy. There's been so much going on, but It makes me so excited to see like these outlying rural communities have the conversations and have Pride festivals and have the celebration of love and joy and equality outside of like Metro Davidson County, where it felt like for the longest time we were just in a blue bubble. Mm-hmm. We were just in this little bubble where it's only okay to be gay here. Yeah. But like seeing these like rural communities allowing and accepting and finally realizing that we're real humans in your everyday life, like it's so exciting to me. I literally cried when I saw the Maury County like Pride event. They invited me on Facebook to be part of their group, and I was like, absolutely yes, I want to be part of your group. Like I want to help however we can. So it's just been like really, really cool to see it finally reaching more of the rural communities instead of just like the little bubble.
Chuck, we've only got about a second or two, but I wanted to get your thoughts real quick. I think we've got to go to break. Just any sort of feedback on the rural prides?
I just echo Zach's sentiments. I mean, I just think it's incredible. We're getting out from the major metropolitan areas into the rural areas. I know the people living there are so excited about this, and so we are too. Cool.
Thank you guys so very much for joining us and giving us your thoughts. And we will be right back with a look at the most recent LGBTQ discriminatory legislation passed right here in our home state. You'll want to stay with us.